Micheline from Americana Long Arm Quilting. We do custom quilting and long arming, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. You may have seen my video where I showed y'all my fabric haul, and I told you about this little cutesy baby quilt material that one of my son's friends, his wife is having a baby in like 4 weeks. Ooh, I gotta get this done. So I want something quick and easy to do, but that's still fun to sew and a little bit more challenging and a little bit not so predictable, right? I just don't want squares. So, you know, there's all those basically stack and whack layer cake designs where you cut this in half and then you put the top one on the bottom and you sew them all back together. And that's the general principle of what I'm gonna do. But what I'm gonna do is make it into what I'm calling a Wonky Four Patch. So I'm gonna pair up these fabrics, and then in pairs, I'm gonna cut them at an angle. And then after I cut them at an angle, I will sew them back together like so. Then I will, let's just do it here right quick. Then I will put them together like so. I didn't iron this or anything. This is just my test one. There we go. And then I'm gonna cut it again. And then I will sew it back together again like so. And we will get this really super wonky four patch. And then I'll trim that down. So here's what he looks like after he's all said and done. Just a wonky little four patch. So that's what we're gonna do. Now in the end, I might put some sashing in between it if I don't like the way they look stuck right next to each other, but I think it'll be kind of fun. So we're gonna get busy cutting these up and getting them sewn. And just for fun today, I'm gonna use my beautiful Juki here. Some of you may know I also have a drapery workroom, and this is my workhorse for my drapery workroom. I sew on her all the time, and I absolutely love her. She is just a fabulous machine. So that's what I'm gonna use today because I've got her, and why not? I love those machines. Okay, let's open up this package and see what we've got. This is always the fun part, right? This is by Riley Blake. Ooh, cute, 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 cute. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the elephants. Oh, this is cute. Look, it's musical instruments. That's adorable. Toot, toot. What's that? Ting-a-ling. Look at those. Aren't those precious? Very cute. Let's see how many of those we have. 3, 4. Yeah, I think we're going to have 4 of just about everything. Here's a pretty, almost reads us all. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is cute. 4 of the green in the elephants and a white elephant. What is this guy? Oh, that was my husband on the tractor outside. Don't know what happened. He hit something. Okay, those look like all kinds of different animals, really. It almost looks like a little bear, and I don't know what that is. That looks like a koala right there. There's more musical instruments. We got more of this one. What did I do? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's odd. There's 3 of the whites. Isn't that funny? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess we're not going to have as many whites. Here's a yellow. Didn't need to answer that. And some more musical instruments and that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to really worry about necessarily making sure it's light and dark. I just want them to contrast, okay? So I'm just gonna start putting them together and setting them to the side. Maybe I won't put 2 elephants together or something like that. Who knows? Let's get them opened up to where I can see them. And then we'll bring them back over here and cut them. And it doesn't matter how you cut them, where you cut them at, just so long as they get cut at a fun angle. Let's do this guy. My fingers don't want to work, do they? I think this is an important part, that you spread all your fabrics out so you get kind of a nice, you don't end up all with the same color left over, you know what I mean? I think I like him with this one. And like I've got just a few whites left over here now. So I want to make sure that I don't end up with a bunch of whites to go together. La, la, la. Don't want to get a wrinkle in them. Okay, we've almost got it fixed up here. I think I did that one already with him. Okay, let's see, this one will go with this one. Looks like I might have. How would I have one left over? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, there's 2 of those left over. Okay, we'll put him with him. Ah, well that just worked out just fine. There we go. And this one will have 2 blues. All right, now your inclination might be put right sides together at this point. But if you do that, they won't sew together correctly, okay? Because you'll have mirror images instead of a right and a left. I don't know if I said that right. Okay, so let me explain a little bit better why you don't want to put mirror images together. All right, so here why you don't want to put right sides together and then cut. Let's say I've got my right sides together like this, and I'm gonna cut a line right here. So I'm gonna put my fingers here just to indicate where my line is, and I'm gonna pretend that I've sewn that 1/4 inch seam, and then I'm going to turn that over, and guess what? That doesn't make a square anymore. So that's why you don't want to do right sides together. You want to do right sides up on both of them, and then we're just going to make our first cut right here like so. Okay, and then I'm going to set these over here to the machine, and let's see here, I will switch them out like that. That way, as I come to them, they're in the right position, okay? Now, you don't have to cut just 2 at a time. I've got 4 of them stacked here. And so I have 2 blocks that are in a similar orientation. They're not all gonna be the same, so I cut that. And then these 2 top ones, I'm gonna switch around, right? Put them in my stack to sew. Go like this. Those 2 go together, and these 2 will go together, and that's just fine. Now, here's another thing. Look, I can take these 2 top ones, and I can just go like that. And now, now I've cut in 2 different angles, and I've cut 4 pieces. Easy peasy. So that can take as short a time as you like. So I think I'll do that with the rest of them. Just angle two of them just ever so slightly in a different direction, and it'll get me a different angle each time I do it. All right, I'm gonna continue getting the rest of this stack whacked, and then we'll get to the machine. All right, so we're gonna use my big industrial machine, my Juki, I love her, to get all these sewn together. We're gonna do some chain piecing. So I'm just gonna take the top, I've got them all in pairs already, and I'm gonna take the top two, and if you'll notice, let's see if I can get that to where you can see it. I'm just overlapping, I'm letting that stick out about 1/4 of an inch, and the same on the other side. And that will get me closer to them being square. Now it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna square these up after I finish sewing the whole wonky thing together. I think I'll square them up to about 9 inches. That way I'm not worrying about, you know, saving every little scant 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it under that presser foot and just go to town. And this machine, she's a little bit more aggressive than my Pfaff that I use for quilting on a normal occasion, but I don't think she's gonna give me any trouble here. The fun thing about this machine is, or if you've never sewn on an industrial machine, number one, keep your fingers out from under the needle because it will go directly through your finger. My friend Melanie was sewing with me one day, and I was sewing at another machine, and she was sewing at this machine. Well, it was a different machine I had at the time. And all of a sudden I heard her go, uh-oh. I said, Melanie, what is it? Did you run out of bobbin? And she said, no, you need to come here. And I said, what is it? She says, I sewed through my finger. And I came over here and I had to get a screwdriver and take out the needle that was through her thumb or through her finger, and take her to the ER. So yeah, you have to be really careful with an industrial machine. It is serious business. But the other fun thing is it's got a lever that you operate with your knee, and it lifts your presser foot up and down. So just a little FYI. Okay, so we are going to continue, me and all the little elves that help me sew. I'm going to continue sewing all these together, and then we'll get them pressed, and then we'll cut them again, and that'll be fun. Okay, I got them all sewn. Didn't take any time at all. This is what I mean about this is this is gonna be a fast quilt to make. So if you need to make a quilt really fast, I would suggest doing one of these little stack and wax, whether you do it wonky like the way I'm doing it, or you do it without being wonky. Either way you do it, it's really fast. Okay, well, sewing those first seams and getting it pressed didn't take any time at all. This truly is a fast quilt to do. So I do have them all pressed. I've put them in pairs again, and it looks like I've got more whites than I anticipated because every single one of these has a white in it, and some of them have 2 whites in it, and that's okay. When I get to the layout, I'll spatter those that have a lot of white in them around, and it'll be fine. It's something that you need to remember when you're putting these together before we do that secondary whack is you want both units to have their line, the sew line, going in the same way. In other words, if you wanted to put these together this way, Well, it doesn't matter. They both need to go the same way, whether you do it like this or like this. Both of these lines need to be going in the same direction because the next cut we're going to make is going to be this way. So if you have one of these going this way and you cut it that way, it's not going to work, okay? So that's a really important piece of information that you need to keep in mind. So you just put that there like that. Bring this over here. And whack it off again. And then we'll take them over here and put them back in a stack again. I'm going to put this one this way so that when I go to pick it up, he's already ready to sew. Just like that. Let's do a couple more. So like I said, I've got them already in stacks. Let's do what I did earlier because that made it certainly faster. And I'm just going to go like that. And let's go this way this time. It's a little backwards for me, but that's okay. There we go. Now we're going to have, whoops, I got them all that way. Like that. Put it this way. Okay. So you see where I'm going with this. I'm going to get all of these paired up, or they're already paired up. I'm going to get them all whacked off again, and then it's back to the machine to sew again. I'm knocking things down. I'll see you in a minute. Ranger came to say hi, didn't you? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I love you. Have you been outside playing with Daddy? Yeah. Love that dog. Okay, I've got my stack made. We're gonna get them together, or pick them up and get them sewn together again. Same as we did last time. Leave a little notch there and a little notch there and run them through the machine. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of these sewn and I'll get right back to you. Okay, let me turn this machine off so you can hear me really well. I wanted to show you something. You know, I preach and preach and preach about that 1/4 of an inch. Well, I'm not used to sewing a 1/4 of an inch on this machine. And so I was sewing this one along and I realized, look what I did. Can you see that? Boy, did I make that a scant 1/4 of an inch, because my fabric got off a little bit. So I'm gonna take that little piece off just a couple of inches. I'm just gonna stick my scissors down in there and clip every few stitches. It's gonna be easier to go from this direction because I can see it a little bit better. And some people are better at this than I am with the scissors. I'm gonna grab my seam ripper. I'm a little bit more adept with the seam ripper. And I'm just gonna stick it under there and I'm gonna clip about every 3rd stitch. Okay. There we go, now I'm getting the hang of it. And then I can pop the rest of those stitches open. All right. Now, I will put it back under my machine and make sure that those 2 pieces stay together and stay aligned. That way I don't have to rip stitches. And when I go to long arm the quilt, I'll have those nice 1/4 inch seams and it won't accidentally pull apart when I'm long arming it. That's really important. So take the time. If you've made a seam that's not a good 1/4 inch, stop. Fix it, move on. One more thing I want to bring your attention to when you're sewing your Wonky 4 patches together is this is a bias seam here. Because we've cut that at an angle, some biases, if I did a more extreme angle, They're more biased than if I did a straighter angle, but these are on an angle. So you want to be really careful when you're sewing it that you're not pulling one piece hard and stretching it out of alignment, because then you'll get a really funky, wonky this way quilt, and you don't want wonky this way. You just want wonky this way, okay? Okay, so we've got them all sewn together, all pressed. I think they turned out so cute. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking each and every one and I'm squaring it down to 9 inches. Super easy. You can tell how wonky they are, and that is perfectly okay, because we knew we were going to trim them down. So I've just come over here. I've made myself a little station with my rotating cutting mat. That always helps when you're squaring things up. And I'm just doing one side at a time and squaring them down to 9 inches. And when I get through all of them, we'll take them over to the big table and lay them out. And really, y'all, I have spent probably an hour and a half, 2 hours sewing today. Really an easy, fun project to do. Great use of a layer cake. I don't know, I haven't counted them yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I just ended up with 40 blocks. Let me see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Yeah, so it turned back into, it was a 40 count layer cake, 40 piece layer cake. And I got 40 blocks out of it. So I can make, and they're gonna be 9 inches. So I can go, let's see, 5 by 5. 5 times 9 is 35, is that right? No, 7, 8, 45. So it can be a quilt that is 45 by 45 inches. Now, if I don't want it that big, if I want it to be a rectangle, I can take off one of the rows and maybe I'll put those on the back. So we'll just see how big it turns out to be. This is a baby quilt after all, so it doesn't have to be very big. But I do like a little bit larger baby quilt. Sometimes baby quilts are like 36 inches, and that's just, to me, that's too small. I want my babies to snuggle up. So I'm just gonna keep cutting these down to 9 inches, and when I get them all cut down to 9 inches, we'll meet again over at the big table and we'll lay it all out. Okay, y'all, I got this all laid out. I think there's a good distribution of all the colors. I really like how patchy and wonky it's looking. I don't think I'm gonna put any sashing in between. This is gonna finish at 42.5 by 51. That is a gracious, plenty snuggly blanket for a baby. And I have 12 pieces left over. This is 5 by 6. So on the back, to save some of the backing material so I can use it for more things, I am going to put 2 rows of these blocks on the back, and then it'll all be used up. I won't have wasted anything. I will have used the entire layer cake, and that is gonna be really wonderful. So now what I'm gonna do, by the way, this is my new puppy. He's not a puppy. I'll get a better picture of him. This is an old dog that somebody threw out He is a Mastiff, and I'm going to get him checked by the vet this week. And we're going to call him Sarge, and I got him yesterday. We've rescued just about every dog that we've got. I'll get a better picture of him for you guys. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, get my little tabs here with my numbers on them, and I'm going to label and pin. I'll pin these. There's no more sticky to them. I'm gonna, excuse me, Sarge. Thank you, sweet baby. Thank you. He's still getting the hang of the place. 6. Need a 5. There we go. All right. So I've got my rows numbered now, and I'm just gonna pin them all together and take them over to the machine and sew the pieces together in the rows, and then I'll sew the rows together, and then I'll show you how it looks after that. Okay, see you in a bit. So our Wonky Four Patch is done. I have to say, this was a really liberating quilt to make, because you just literally stack pieces up and just ran your knife right through them. That was fun. It came together really easy. This would be a beginner quilt and have fun with it. This is really cute. Okay, it turned out 43 by 50 inches, which is a generous size baby quilt, right? On the back, I used some of my leftover squares and quilted it with an adorable teddy bear pattern. I'll get you a close-up of that in a minute. Now, my son is going to take this weekend to see his good friend Zach and his lovely bride, and they have just had a little baby boy. So I can't wait for him to give them this. Now, I've told you a little bit about Sarge, and you may have noticed that he's been in numerous other videos. So between the beginning of filming this video and now the end of filming this video, it's been a while. So we've had Sarge for a while, but I promised you that I would give you a little bit more information about Sarge's story, and I'm going to do that now. But first, please like, share, and subscribe to our videos. That really helps us out. And until next time, stay quilting. And now a little bit about Sarge. All right. So this is Sarge. Sarge is a Mastiff. You know, I love my great big dogs. He's probably 200 pounds. Sarge was dumped. He's old. He was smelly. He had an open wound on his tail. And we think he's a little bit deaf. And I think somebody just got tired of taking care of him. And rather than taking him to the vet and either doing the last act of kindness, which I think he's still got some life in him, so I'm glad they didn't do that. But rather than doing that, getting him the care he needs, or sending him to a rescue if they didn't think they could take care of him, or finding somebody else that could take care of him. Instead of doing all that, they dumped him. How do I know they dumped him? Well, it's conjecture for certain, but this is not a dog that runs. So trust me, I think I've seen him trot once or twice. He's very old. So he didn't run away from home. Somebody loaded him up in their vehicle and dumped him out in the country. And thankfully, I saw his story on Facebook where a rescuer had found him and gotten him back to her place where she could feed him and love on him and try and find his owner. Of course, no owner ever came out. So then she started advertising him to a good home on Facebook, and I scooped him up. Didn't even think twice about it. So listen, if you've got an elderly dog and you're at your wit's end, you can't take care of him, elderly dog, young dog, whatever it is, please don't dump your dog. There are so many rescues that will take your dog. There are so many people like me that will give your dog a wonderful home. And I don't know how long I'll have Sarge. I'm hoping for at least 6 months with him before he just gives up, because he can barely stand. It's hard for him to get up and down. But but I don't care. As long as I've got him, he's going to have a wonderful home, and we just love him to pieces. So if you find yourself in a place where you can't take care of your dog, please don't dump him. Please, there's places out there, people like me, that will take your dog for you, okay? Have a wonderful day. Please like, subscribe, and share. Again, do all those things that make that algorithm sing. And until next time, stay quilting. Bye.